Okay, I think we had an issue because I started to do this and I didn't stream. Sorry. So I'm here. I'm late. I did that. Nobody was connected. I wasn't connected to. Sorry. So I am Benjamin Pierre. Today there is a revision for the ESTICE, which is in a school in Lille. So I do that again. We have here. Sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy. I'm here, and we have a table, shop, product, reference, price per unit, this and that. And we will go through this exercise with a different topic, like SUMIF, COUNTIF. We will see how to insert pivot table, how to create a chart based on the pivot table, and so on. So let's dive in this. So before to insert or to create different functions, I will create some name for all the different columns here. So instead of calculating, let's say, the sum of E2 up to E12, I will type equals sum open the bracket 2024 dash quantity. Let's dive into this. You will see it will be easier to do this. So first, I select all my table like this. Now I click on in formulas. I go in create from selection, meaning I want to create the name for all the different headers. I get rid of the left column because Excel thinks that all Merlimont, Lille, Dunkerque are the name given for all the rows, but I don't want that. I just want to have the name for the column. So I get rid of the left column and I keep the top row. Okay. I check this in the name manager. So it was done. Very good. So to explain to you why I did that, if I want to calculate the total sum for this, no need to type equal E2 up to E12, but just here equal sum open the bracket. And now I click on F3. I work on Microsoft Windows operating system, and then I double click on 2024, enter, and boom, that's it. So it's easier, it's quicker. So I type just here cell, and thanks to Mehdi, because I run my streaming, but I didn't launch the live. I'm here now. So first, prior to make all the calculation, I gave a name for each column. Now you're asked to create a pivot table like this one and that one to insert a chart and to insert what we call a fix. So to do this, we will first to do this. Very good. So I go back in base de données, meaning database. I select with Control A all my table. So I check if it was done properly. It's good. I go in insert, pivot table. I select an existing worksheet because I will insert this pivot table within TCD, which is the equivalent of pivot table, but in French. I click on TCD like this. And now I will select where I want to insert my pivot table. So it's too close to average, so I need to move average like this. I go back again, insert pivot table, existing worksheet, TCD. Now I have enough space to insert the pivot table. Now, so I will zoom in for you. So I need the product in rows. So this is a display. And I would like to calculate the summary. I want to summarize all the quantity for 2024, 2025, 2026. And to do this, there is one place within the pivot table is in values here. So I need to drag and drop total quantity for 24, 25, and 26, like this. Okay, now it's done. So this is for the sum. I just need to replace row label with products, like this, and that's it. Now I will work on something which is called average. So I want to calculate the average quantity for each year, 2024, 2025, 2026. And to do this, I won't create another pivot table. I will have just to copy this pivot table and paste it there, and then we work on the different column to ask to calculate the average. So I just have to copy here. Now I go where I want to paste. So just a tip, no need to right click, paste, or command V to paste. Just have to type enter on the keyboard just to paste. Very easy. Now I want to calculate the average. So the average for each column, it's very easy. You go on each different column wherever, let's say the first one there, right click, and then you select summarize values by, and then we click on average. We do the same for the second column here, show or summarize values as average. The same for this one. And of course, when you make a calculation, because we don't calculate anything, in fact, pivot table is calculating for us. We need to check to be sure that all the figures are good, the outcomes are good. So to check this out is very easy. We see computer 259 for the average 2024. So I select the first one, first quantity for computer. I can filter with computer like this, just to check. I select 100 plus 327 plus 340, but I want to calculate the average, and the average is just here. You see here, just now. So on this side, you see average 259, and we see the sum is 777, and it is exactly the same result we had before. 777 and 259. So the results are good. I will keep all the different header, no need to replace them. Now I would like to, from the pivot table, to insert a chart. So prior to insert a chart, as it is a kind of, it is a revision for my students, but it is a reminder for all the beginner. If you want to create a chart based on the pivot table, no need to select the information within the pivot table. On the other hand, if you've got a table which is not a pivot table, you need to select some information, not all the information. You can select some column, but not all the column. Here, as it is a pivot table, Excel understands that everything is included here. So no need to select anything. So you go wherever, insert, we go in the charts, and then we want this one, for this exact example, 3D column, and we would like to have this one, computer, or for all the product, computer. So all the different color are for different year, like this. So prior to explain how to use it, as I said in the first place, I am working on Microsoft Windows operating system, and on Microsoft Windows, when we create a chart based on a pivot table, we can have the different field on the chart like this. So I can filter by product directly on the chart. On the other hand, if you work on a Mac, because I have a Mac too, I teach on Mac, you don't see all the field directly on the chart. So if you want to, let's say, just select one product, or if you want to filter with the slicer, for instance. We will see that afterwards. Then you need to do this directly on the pivot table, but not on the chart. On Microsoft Windows, as it is native from the beginning, we can do that directly on the chart. So what if I want to select just one product? I go here, I uncheck all the product. Let's say we just want iPad and Mac Mini M4. Let's say OK. So now you see I can filter only on 2 products, and we see the filtering done just here. So I won't filter from there. I will filter from something which is called slice. A slice in French is a segment, meaning that I will display the different fields I want to filter. So I want to filter on product and I want to filter on shop. We don't see the shop there. So the shop, I remind you that we see all the different shop in Merlimont, Dunkerque, and Lille. Lille. So we have here filter Lille. So I go back in my pivot table. I go in from this pivot table. I go in insert. If you are not in pivot table, you won't see the slice. The slice will be in gray zone. So let's say insert. And if I want to see slicer, it won't work. So I need to be within this, click on slicer. I select the different field. I remind you that when we speak about field in pivot table, it means it's a column in the source of the pivot table. So now I check shop, product, and I validate with OK. So you will display the 2 different filter there. I can resize this. I can modify the style here in the menu slicer. Let's say this one. I shop, and I want that one. It's okay. So let's say, what if I want to select from different shop like Dunkerque, Lille, Merlimont? You will see this modified, and here the chart will be modified too. Boom, just for Dunkerque, this and that. If I want only the iPad, so just the iPad is selected here, there. So I can not only select just one product, but I can also select the shop, and I could, what if I had something different, select different information. So I answered the question, and if I want to get rid of this filtering with the filter, I click on clear filter like this, clear filter on product to keep all the different products, and that's it. So I answered two different questions you will have on your evaluation, your assessment on next Tuesday. Now let's dive into another exercise, which is the delivery status there. Within this table, we want first to create a pivot table. So same, insert, pivot table, existing worksheet. Let's see here. So I check if yes, it's okay. I would like to display the product, the quantity, and now I would like to display the total quantity when the delivery status, so we will be delivered some product. Some product where the delivery was good or bad, but I want to calculate, to summarize the total quantity for all the product received in a bad condition. So to do this, I can use now again the slicer based only on the status like this. So now I can of course give it a style and I say I want just bad product, bad delivery. like this. So I just have bad delivery and computer, laptop, Mac Mini M4, and the total quantity is here. And this is my product. So we did the same exercise as before, but just on this table made with product, delivery status, and quantity. Now I want to create a drop-down list with the different product. So to create a drop-down list, I ask you to go back on my YouTube channel because there you will see different video about data validation, how to create um, a drop-down list. But there we will create a drop-down list based on the name given before. Remember, in the first database, I gave a name for all the different field, and when I go back in formulas, we have one field which is called product here for this one, and this one is for base de données, this one for this one. So now if I go back there, I want to create a drop-down list, and this drop-down list can be made from the menu data. After that, you click here on data validation. So we ask Excel to allow a list. The source of my list is a name I gave before. So remember, if you want to remind to recall the name given, you can type on F3 on your keyboard if you work on Microsoft Windows operating system, of course. And then now I will have to click on product. I select product. So when you refer to a name within the source of data validation, you need to insert before the name equal and then the name given. But to be sure that the name is good, F3 on the source, and then the list of different name given or made before. And now we see the different product. Now you're asked to create a SUMIF. So here it is a drop down list plus SUMIF. So in fact, we ask Excel, what if the computer is found within this database here? Each time computer is found in this column, then Excel will summarize the total quantity, meaning this plus this plus this. So instead of selecting each time the quantity based on a product, Excel will calculate it and explain to you how to do this, but it's very easy. So in fact, in this example, we will use the sum if with through argument. The first is where the criteria, so the criteria is what I am looking for, is found. So equal sum if, open the bracket, where computer is found. Computer is found in the column which is called product. Product. I think it is this one. We check after. Semicolon. Then the criteria is what I am looking for within this column. I'm looking for this cell because within this cell we've got a drop-down list. So it could be either computer, either laptop, either Mac Mini M4, semicolon, and then we need to summarize information, and we want to summarize the, let's say, quantity. Let's say I would like the quantity from 2024. Let's say this one, F3. So I select there 2024, like this. work. So we'll do that in another way. So let's say I won't do that from 2024. I will do the summary sum if just based on this. It will be easier for me to do that. So we'll just change the name here to be sure that I'm not doing something wrong. I will give a name again. Sorry, formulas, create from selection, and now equal SUMIF open the bracket. The range is my product, but product 2. So in fact, this column there, semicolon. My criteria is what I am looking for. I'm still looking for E3, so the list. Semicolon, I want to summarize quantity 2, so F3, and I will recall the quantity 2, which is here, like this. It's okay. So 588. Is it good? Is it wrong? Don't know, need to check. So for the computer, this plus, so to ask to summarize, I type I strike on my keyboard control, this and that, and we see 500 here, 588. So the result is good. So now what if I select from the drop-down list, the quantity will change. That's why we've got an error here. Let's see here. Boom, like this. Now if I check from the slicer, I can get rid of the filter. Remember here. Remember, if I check with the computer, the figure here is good. I can check with the laptop, the same result. And for each product, the result is good. Now, let's dive into something which is called a COUNTIF. So remember, the SUMIF is made based on 3 arguments. So the first is where I want to find the criteria, semicolon, the criteria. And now if I go back in COUNTIF, the aim of COUNTIF is to count the number of cells containing something, and the something is the criteria. So in fact, for the COUNTIF, we just keep the 2 parts of the SUMIF, product and E3. That's it. So if it is for this one, but in this case, I will ask Excel to count for this table. I would like to count all the products whose quantity is, um, let's say, less than 100. So normally, I should find 2 products whose quantity are less than 100. Let's dive into this exercise. So this, like this. Number of product less than 100. The number of quantity less than 100. So now how to do this? Remember, I gave some name. So equal COUNTIF, open the bracket. So the range on which I want to work. I want to work not on a range of product, but I will work on a range of quantity. So within this range, so with quantity 2 here, 3, quantity 2, this one. I would like to display all the quantity, the number of cell containing a quantity less than 100. And to do this, it's very easy. Semicolon. So two ways. The first is in double quote, you type less than 100, double quote, and you close the bracket. So remember, we just have two quantity, this and that, less than 100. Second way to do this, so I'll show you the formula here, is to refer to the cell containing less than 100. So let's say here, equal, COUNTIF, open the bracket, and then still quantity 2, this one, semicolon, but now I just click on the cell containing less than 100, like this. So this is the first way, and this is the second way, this one and that one. So what we saw before is first, based on a database, some tips. You can select all the table with the Control A. If you want to create a name for each column, so based on selection, you just have to go now on formulas and click on create from selection. Pay attention that if you work on Mac, you've got the same ribbon except that define name is not on the ribbon. You don't see define name, you just see all the different icons, but all the name for the block don't exist. If you want to create a pivot table, no need to select. Just go wherever, insert, pivot table, and you see in the background that everything is selected. The first part of a pivot table is the source. It is based on range, so from a cell to another one, up to from a cell to another one, blah, blah. And the second part of the pivot table here is where you want to display the pivot table, and you want to display the pivot table on a cell, not on a range. And it's either on the new worksheet, so blank, just your pivot table, or an existing worksheet, and then you select from the source here, you select where you want to set to display. So you can click on TCD like this, and you go down and you select where you want to see. That's why here we see TCD exclamation point, meaning the sheet TCD, and within the sheet TCD, we want to display the pivot table on C33. So we saw COUNTIF, SUMIF, pivot table, insert a slice, change the style of the slice, insert a chart, work within the chart, and create a data validation. So now if you have any question, ask me within the chat of the either on uh, Twitch or on YouTube. Don't hesitate. Ask me. I'm here to answer to your question if you want me to repeat and to do that again. Of course, I won't share this exercise to you because it's for my students, and the assessment will be on the next Tuesday, on the 17th of February. But after Tuesday, I will share with all of you this exercise, so as you will be able to practice on this exercise. Of course, I said before, but I explained to you, for all my YouTube streaming, it will be recorded directly on my YouTube channel, so you can play and watch it again after. and it's lifetime. So feel free to ask me question, and I'll be able to answer to your question. Mehdi, do you have any question? Okay, so if you don't have any question, so I go back here in the live. Ah, okay, okay, une autre question. So we have a question there. Je n'ai pas compris l'exercice de drop-down list et SUMIF. Okay, so the aim of the drop-down list is to create a list of the different products. We have two ways to do this. The first is to select the source, let's say manually somewhere. I will explain to you with this example. So I go back here in, so it was in delivery status here, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, Mehdi. So here we've got the product and we want to display a drop-down list. So to create a drop-down list, you need to select where you want to, of course, insert this drop-down list. And the aim of a drop-down list is to allow a list to within a cell. So now I click here, I click on data, I click on data validation, and from this you see normally this dialog box with allow any value, and you click here, you select a list. So I will allow a list. And the content of this list here is all this information. You agree? Computer, laptop, iPad, blah, blah. So let's say I want to select this. You see that as I selected manually all the content, you see that in the source, we see equal product because I gave a name to this column, and the name given was product. So this is the source of my information. So now if I go back, I see computer, laptop, iPad, Mac Mini M4, and Mac Mini M4 Pro. Now I want to calculate the total quantity per product based on this table here, and this one. So I will use something which is called SUMIF. Equal SUMIF, open the bracket. The range is the product. So I show you, I select the content here, and you see that by default, Excel is typing product because I gave a name for this column, semicolon. Now I want to type or to insert the criteria. So the criteria is what I am looking for within the column product. And I want to select the cell containing my drop down list. So this one. Because each time I will select either Mac Mini M4 Pro, computer, iPad, laptop, or something else, Mac Mini M4, Excel will find the product within the column. And if the product is found within the column, then Excel will summarize what, so the range for the quantity, this one. And this is called quantity, like this. So now if I select, what if I select any product, we will see directly the quantity calculated, meaning the total quantity, so the summary of the quantity. So each time Mac Mini M4 Pro is found, Mac Mini M4 Pro is found, 127 plus this, 146. If I select another one, boom, you see, changing. Is it more clear for you, Mehdi? Do you have any question? Any other question? Because I think you are the only one to be connected with me, and I really appreciate. Or maybe 5 or 4 different person are connected. So feel free to ask any question. It's a kind of lesson there where you can ask any questions to prepare this. Of course, on the next Tuesday, you will be prepared again based on this exercise before the assessment, and then I will share with you, of course, the exercise file. So as you will be able to to do this, and you will be assessed on the same exercise. So it's a good way to ask any question now because it's a one-to-one. Okay, so thank you. If you don't have any question, thank you. Have a good afternoon on Saturday. And so for us, Mehdi and the other students, see you on Microsoft Teams on Tuesday for my last lesson together. So you will have the opportunity to watch again this video streaming, which is recorded on my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thanks for following me. Bye bye. So le devoir, monsieur, ça consiste à ça, ce qu'on est en train de faire. Mehdi, the aim of the assessment is exactly this exercise as I explained just before. So in fact, I am preparing any student from the class to be able to succeed and to manage to have a good mark on this exercise. So it will be exactly the same as I said. That's why I am doing this kind of. Is it more clear?